Malcolm Todd's second album is my first introduction to the LA-based artist with 30 million monthly listeners, and it's a solid first impression. It's short and sweet, but also surprisingly complex and well constructed. Admittedly, it has a stronger second half, with the real peak being in the middle few tracks, but the first half was certainly engaging enough to bring me in. I was really pleased to find this album, which came out on Friday the 5th of June, as I'd already written and recorded a review of Florescence by Maisie, which released a week prior, but when it came to editing, I just found that review too boring to put out. For anyone interested, that album scored a 7 out of 10 and is what I'd call pretty bad, as in it was pretty like Flowers but lacking pretty much anything else that makes Flowers special. It did have enough technical skill and good vocal performances to bring it up a few points, but I expect it to gather dust in the same way fake Flowers do. Do That Again by Malcolm Todd is far more engaging, complex and decisive in its execution. Let's dig into the emotion, songwriting and production, and then I'll share my rating, and also some recommendations for other albums that have released in the past couple of weeks that you might enjoy. I have 3 real standouts that nailed the emotion on this album: Goodbye, Lonely Song, and Gun to My Head. Gun to My Head is also my favourite song production-wise, so I'll talk about that later, but I have to highlight that I gave this one a 10 out of 10 on vibe. It really felt cohesive, the structure matched the lyrics and the production. It's an excellent track. Lonely Song is a clear reference to Akon's Lonely, with the guitar lines which sound like a synth, playing the melody from that track between sections of this one. It's clever, it's memorable, and the performance has a great personality. I'll talk about the lyrics a little bit more in the next section on songwriting. Overall, I just really enjoy the way it does what it's trying to do. Goodbye is probably the performance standout for me. Malcolm Todd really delivers on the personality front on this one. He's not a world-class singer, but he's not trying to be Freddie Mercury. He is entirely himself, and this is the track where he really leans into being authentic and genuine in a really affecting and effective manner. Personally, I would have picked this track to be the album opener, as it really gives you a glimpse into who he is and what to expect on the rest of the album. Unfortunately, in its current spot, it's the penultimate track, so if you made it that far on the album, it's unlikely to hook you further. The 2 tracks that let down the emotional side of things on this album happen a lot earlier on it. I thought Obsessica was a good song with nice, understated production, but the performance was a little weaker than elsewhere. Breathe is the other track that didn't really deliver for me. I thought the intro was excellent and the outro was strong. It's just a shame about everything that happened in between. It felt a lot less cool than the other tracks on the album, almost leaning into Jason Mraz territory. I gave the emotion, vibe and performance an 8.2 out of 10. Very strong, but not without room for improvement. Music and songwriting is probably the hardest area on my rubric to score highly. Each track is rated on structure, arrangement, harmony, rhythm, melody, and lyrics. If you're not doing something exceptional in all of those areas, you're not scoring a 10 on songwriting. I actually had the same top 3 for songwriting as I did on the emotion side of things, but there's another standout that I want to take a moment to talk about: Malcolm in the Middle. It's personal but relatable, has a really strong arrangement, and scores highly across the board. It might have been a little obvious to do so, but I would probably have gone for this one for the title track. It just feels great and really flirts with the indie vibes well. As I mentioned earlier, the lyrics on Lonely Song are great. A real standout for me is the section of lines, "I'm 22, oh no, I only know how to be 21. It's fantastically sarcastic, but also feels pretty honest, and is definitely a feeling I can relate to as I settle into my 30s. Gun to My Head is getting a mention in all 3 sections, but I'll try to keep it brief here. There's some excellent wordplay in the lyrics, and the structure and arrangement are both extremely good. This track and Lonely Song tied for first place in this section, and both scored an 8.5 out of 10 for songwriting. Overall, Do That Again scored 7.8 for songwriting and music. The arrangements were particularly effective on this album, while the harmony left me wanting a little bit more across the board. If music and songwriting are the hardest to score highly on, production and technique are normally the easiest. It's 2026. People know what they're doing, and it's hard to find a bad mix and master these days. A track I haven't mentioned yet, but which scored really highly for me in this area, is Ain't That the Truth. This is probably the most versatile track on the entire album. I could easily see this on a bunch of different artists' albums with a different arrangement, and it would fit in just as easily there as it does here. The mix and master are particularly strong with exceptional clarity. The vocals sound great, the bass is an excellent foundation, and the guitar parts feel particularly authentic. Gun to My Head is the absolute standout in terms of production. I love the choice to add a laser sound to represent the gun. It fits into the synth sounds really nicely. The backing vocals sound great on this, the bass is really nice, and the drums sound fantastic on this one. The drums being one of the elements of the album that didn't always land for me. The track that I felt was let down the most by its production was I Saw Your Face. It's much more acoustic and feels like standard pop, but not in a bad way. There's something intangible about this track that makes me really like it, but it just didn't have the energy that felt like it was ever going to explode. I just wanted it to get bigger. I also wanted a little bit more from the drums. They were a bit safe for me. I gave production and technique an 8.4 out of 10. It was well handled. Sure, some of the choices didn't land perfectly for me, but I love that Malcolm Todd was willing to take risks. Overall, I'm a fan. I listened to snippets of 15 albums or EPs that released on Friday, and this is the one that kept bringing me back. It's intimate, intricate, and well executed. If I had to get rid of one track, it would probably be Breathe. It just didn't feel as well put together as the rest of the album. I would love to know what ended up on the cutting room floor instead of it. Overall, I gave Do That Again by Malcolm Todd an 8.1 out of 10. It's not changing the game, but it's playing it very well. For a 22-year-old, this is an exceptional album. I cannot wait to see what else he comes up with and what genres he tries to mix in next. I want this channel to be a place where you find excellent new music. So with that in mind, here are 10 albums that I think you should consider checking out this week. Forgive me for just reading them from my iPad. WOWA by Ginzu, 8 by Shinedown, Lauren by Lauren Sanderson, Crawl Space of the Pantheon by Guided by Voices, SE9 by Sky Newman, Sanctuary by Evanescence, Cycle Breaker by Bry, Avant God by Esoterica, Sitting Next to Nelly by Chloe Parche, and Flat Planet by Roby Mitch. Let me know what you thought about Do That Again or any of those other albums in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe for more reviews that really dig into what makes an album special. Alright, bye!